The Boeing 737 MAX crashed twice in just 5 months, claiming 346 lives. Why did this state-of-the-art aircraft, heralded for its absolute safety, repeatedly fall from the sky? The two accidents shocked the world. Boeing's losses exceeded a total of 2 trillion yen, and its reputation plummeted. Yet, at their root was a darkness far deeper than mere technical flaws. This tragedy was the price of safety, lost by aviation giant Boeing amidst market competition and corporate logic. What exactly was this structural flaw? In this documentary, we will unravel why success bred failure, who overlooked this tragedy, and the universal lessons for modern organizations. Let's delve into the full scope of the Boeing 737 MAX collapse. This episode will also detail the specific problems with the MCAS system and the FAA's certification process. Boeing, once at the pinnacle of aircraft manufacturing, began its history in 1916, just 17 years after the Wright brothers' first flight. Producing the world's first jetliner, the 707, and the Queen of the Skies, the jumbo jet 747, Boeing became synonymous with safety and innovation. Its bestseller, the 737 series, flew the world's skies for over half a century, with more than 10,000 units manufactured. It was quite literally the backbone of Boeing. However, in the 2000s, European aircraft manufacturer Airbus rose to prominence. It began to dominate the market, especially with its fuel-efficient A320neo series. In response to this rival's offensive, Boeing chose to modify its existing 737 series rather than develop a new generation aircraft. That was the 737 MAX. The biggest change was the integration of larger, more fuel-efficient new engines. This was meant to counter Airbus. The introduction of new engines posed a significant challenge for the 737's traditional short, low landing gear. To maintain ground clearance, the engines were mounted further forward. This design alteration led to a change in aerodynamic characteristics, causing the aircraft's nose to pitch up more easily in certain situations. From here, a chain of tragedies would begin. To mitigate the aerodynamic changes caused by the new engines, Boeing developed a system, the MCAS, or Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. MCAS was software designed to automatically push the nose down by adjusting the horizontal stabilizer if it detected that the aircraft's nose was pitching up too dangerously. Its primary goal was to ensure commonality with older 737 models, eliminating the need for additional pilot training for the new aircraft and making it easier to sell to airlines. Airlines expected this would significantly reduce pilot training costs, and the 737 MAX quickly secured thousands of orders. However, Boeing failed to include MCAS's existence or its detailed functions in pilot training manuals. This was a fatal oversight. MCAS relied solely on data from a single angle of attack sensor. If that sensor malfunctioned, it could send erroneous information to the system. Furthermore, MCAS operation was extremely powerful, capable of overriding pilot inputs. If it malfunctioned, it carried the risk of repeatedly forcing the nose down, leading to an unrecoverable situation. This critical risk was also overlooked during the certification process by the regulatory authority, the FAA, or Federal Aviation Administration. There was a problem with the relationship between Boeing and the FAA. For years, the FAA had delegated a portion of new aircraft certification tasks to Boeing itself. In essence, Boeing was evaluating its own safety. This was one of the biggest factors in the MCAS's dangers being overlooked. Boeing underestimated the risks, and the FAA failed to adequately scrutinize them. In 2017, the 737 MAX finally entered service. Initially, it flew smoothly, and as Boeing expected, it was highly regarded by airlines worldwide. But here, a hidden trap lay open, unnoticed by anyone. An invisible danger lurking behind its design was drawing closer by the minute. Within Boeing, engineers had issued warnings about the dangers of MCAS. However, management prioritized costs and deadlines, failing to heed their concerns. Massive investments had already been poured into MCAS, and redesigning it now seemed like a waste of enormous sunk costs. The trap of groupthink also played a role. The entire organization became fixated on the premise that the 737 MAX would succeed, fostering an atmosphere resistant to dissent or criticism. The regulatory authority, the FAA, also failed to conduct sufficiently rigorous checks due to its relationship with Boeing. Years of symbiotic relationship led to dysfunction. Information about MCAS was barely communicated not just to pilots, but also to airline training managers. They had no way of knowing the system's dangers. On October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 crashed off the coast of Indonesia. All 189 passengers and crew perished. Accident investigations revealed that the aircraft's angle of attack sensor had malfunctioned, causing MCAS to repeatedly activate erroneously. Pilots battled against MCAS, continually pushing the nose down. Boeing initially promised a software update, but the aircraft were not grounded. Regulatory responses were slow. This would lead to the next tragedy. On March 10, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 crashed shortly after takeoff. The circumstances were eerily similar to the Lion Air flight. 157 people died. These two accidents led to the worldwide grounding of the Boeing 737 MAX. It was an unprecedented large-scale operational halt in aviation history. Boeing finally admitted the fundamental flaws of MCAS, forcing extensive software modifications and revisions to pilot training manuals. The CEO resigned, and Boeing was forced to pay an immeasurable price. Massive compensation and a devastating loss of brand image. The Boeing 737 MAX failure was not merely a technical issue. It was a human disaster brought about by competitive pressure, the pursuit of profit, and a corporate culture that neglected safety. In the business of aircraft manufacturing, which entrusts lives, safety must be the absolute priority. The erosion of this fundamental principle triggered the collapse. This failure serves as a universal lesson for all modern organizations. Companies must not become so fixated on growth and profit that they forget ethics and responsibility. Boeing's tragedy powerfully illustrates the importance of leadership that never rests on past successes, but constantly pursues crisis management and transparency. Why did success become the seed of Boeing's failure? Because they chose the easy path of modifying an existing aircraft, effectively sweeping fundamental safety issues under the rug. Who overlooked this tragedy? Boeing's management and the FAA, to whom certification was delegated, both bear heavy responsibility. The lesson for modern businesses is to prioritize ethics and safety from a long-term perspective, undeterred by short-term profits or market competition. The quality of decision-making differs greatly between those who understand this failure and those who do not. History teaches us about recurring mistakes. If you found this video informative, please subscribe and give us a like. We release a new history of failure every day.
この失敗は歴史のほんの1ページ。世界にはまだ語られていない失敗が数多くあります。失敗の歴史をチャンネル登録して次の物語もぜひご覧ください。